What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to week 2 of the playbook with Joey and Zach. Pumped to be back for another week, even though we missed last week. Back and better than ever. Lots to talk about tonight. Joey will get into that in a minute. We're just coming off a big intramural game, our intramural debut of basketball for the season. So we're a little gassed, but excited to be out here.
Yeah, no, we're psyched to be back in the studio. As always, a pleasure. Thank you guys for always listening. We did have a tough intramural loss in basketball tonight, opening night for co-rec basketball. I think the finals were like 41-25 or something. Something like that.
I mean, it was a 5-point game at 5 minutes left, and then we just kind of lost it. We had no subs.
You might think it's a blowout, but at the end of the day, it was really a 5-point game. I think it was about 6-7 minutes to go. It was still a 6-point game, and then they hit a couple threes. And I know, obviously, we all have to play better as a team, but we also were missing some key pieces. And at the end of the day, no excuses, but opening night, tough loss.
Tonight.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? It's only opening night. Only had 6 people to run, and only one person on the bench doesn't make it easy. But at the end of the day, we do have another game next week. So next Wednesday night, rather than being 8 to 9, will be just like this, probably like 9:30 to 10, 10:30, whatever it is. Similar timing next week since we have another game at 8, is right?
Yeah.
8 next week.
8 every week, so.
Tough, obviously.
Yeah, just this week and the next week it'll be a little bit off in the schedule, but it is what it is. Still got both ends, so.
It's tough. So tonight, we'll be discussing BC football coming off a bad loss to UConn this past weekend. Brutal loss, can't lose to UConn.
Nope.
They do host Duke Friday nights, or 2 nights from now at 7 o'clock. So BC having the second to last home game of the year will be in a couple nights. And then they host Syracuse over Thanksgiving break. So this is really the last game for students, especially for seniors, for us, for the most part, having all of our classmates and everyone at a game, which is not, I mean, it's not the best season for BC football, but at the end of the day, having, the tradition of tailgating games, stuff like that, being with all your friends and everything, you lose that base. It's our last game. So, obviously tough, regardless of the record. Obviously, it'll be a fun game to go to. I think I had Duke beating BC like a couple weeks ago by 13.5. I said take Duke covering the spread. It's 9.5 right now. I'll take
Honestly,
Duke
I'd bet Duke over 20 points.
I'll take Duke winning like 34-14 or something right now. Yeah, 34.
Yeah. Crowd's going to be, student section will probably be electric for the
37-17.
first quarter and a half.
37-17 is my prediction.
I like that.
And we'll get into, obviously, prediction stuff. And then we'll talk about the Celtics, the NBA, give you guys a breakdown of how the Celtics are playing. They're playing right now against the Cavaliers. They're up by 5 points with about 8 minutes to go. Started the fourth quarter on a 12-0 run. And then we'll also talk about the NFL trade deadline, maybe get into some other topics across the NFL and NBA. So we'll start off BC football.
Let's get into it. Tough 13-3 last week. Tough loss.
UConn.
Absolutely brutal losing to UConn. BC football has never lost in the past. Honestly ridiculous. I'm outraged.
0-12-2.
Going.
They were. So we were 12-2 and nothing against them.
I mean, I had so much hope
12-0-2.
for this team going into this year, and I mean, starting away the season, losing to Rutgers, I already lost my hope pretty much. But this is just a new low for the program. It seems like Jeff Hofley's completely lost control of the locker room. There's a lot of rumors swirling around, off-field issues with the team. Everything just seems to be falling apart over there, and there's just no way to salvage the season at this point. Losing to UConn, losing to Rutgers, 2 out-of-conference games that were supposedly, winning games for us. Everyone marked them off as a win, kind of a bye week on the schedule. And now where we sit here at what, 2-6?
2-6 now, losing to UConn. UConn in the past was 0-12-2 against BC. So BC was 12-0-2 versus UConn in 14 games played heading into this game, and now end up losing 13-3. UConn getting the first win against BC ever, so huge win for them, obviously. And then they also won a Power 5 game, which they haven't done since I think it was 2016.
Yeah, 2016, which is nuts. Just shows how far we've gone downhill in the last year in this program.
2016.
It just hurts to see.
September 2016, ending a 14-game losing streak against Power 5 teams. So congrats to them. It's honestly a better game for them, obviously. They have more to gain than to lose. They have more to gain than to lose in that game. BC has everything to lose, and that's what happened. We did lose. 13-3, and now the program just looks like
to them that's the Super Bowl.
A downfall. And they're 4-5 now. They're actually having a really good year. Credit to them. Played well. BC did shoot themselves in the foot multiple times, though. 5 turnovers, 3
2
interceptions.
2 picks for Djokovic. He's had a tough year.
2 picks for Djokovic, 1 for Moorhead, and then 2 fumbles.
You said it yourself, though. There was really no bright spots in the team.
None, 0.
There was none. The O-line play, QB play is what you'd expect.
Zay Flowers only 2 catches
the
for 35
play calling
yards.
has been horrible.
Zay 2 muff punts.
Yep.
One of them being lost, had a bad decision going for one that was drifting away from him. Ended up going in, trying to make it. There were 3 gunners coming at him, 3 defenders. They were on the punt coverage team coming at him. They all hit him, of course, once the ball hit him. Ends up losing the ball. They end up recovering it. So we had 2 muff punts and also dropped a wide-open touchdown to the sidelines off a throw from Emmett Moorhead. And then we had a 17-yard punt. We missed a field goal with about 30 seconds to go. That was wide. Wasn't even close. Wasn't even worth it. I know I went for the field goal because
every phase
down.
of the game just sucks.
You're down 13-3. You're just trying to make it a one-possession game, so you get an onside kick, try to get the ball back. I understand going for the field goal there and just didn't work. End up losing. Like you said, every phase just sucked.
There's really no positive takeaway from that game. The offense, the defense, the special teams, and losses like this are hurting the team way beyond
Now,
I mean, what we're seeing
it's
on
for
the
the
field.
future. It's for the
This
future.
past week, we just saw our top-rated commit for the next cycle, the 2023 cycle. This guy, 4-star safety out of New Jersey, decommit. And I mean, I don't blame him because no one wants to go to a losing program like this.
Yeah.
And I think we're only going to start to see more and more in the next 2 weeks. Some guys decommit, and then at the end of the season, too, we're going to see a whole boatload of guys probably transfer out of the program. I mean, probably a lot of the young talent we've had, too, because especially now with the NIL and transfer rules, it's so easy to, bail out of the program. It's really going to be tough for next year, especially for a guy like Halfley that preaches so much about not going into the portal. If he doesn't go into the portal next year to fill a lot of these holes, we're screwed. I mean, especially in the O-line. We're missing a lot right now, and we're going to have to go in the transfer portal this year. I know he always kind of talks about how much he believes in recruiting through high school and doing things the right way, which I buy in, but he's not going to be able to do that now if, all these guys are jumping ship. So he's going to have to dig into the transfer portal this offseason. There's no excuses because there's going to be guys leaving, both that are on the team right now and guys that have been pledging to the program that are also going to drop their commitments.
Yeah, it's not just for now; it's for the future. Obviously, you're losing guys, and who knows what Jeff Halfley's future holds at BC? He could be gone after one more year. Who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, they do give you 3 or 4 years to develop a culture and stuff. And obviously, he came into a program that's already a winning culture. I know we weren't winning ACC championships. We were always about 500 in a bowl game, and obviously this year just shows this team has gone downhill. Especially considering we had a lot of talent coming back. Jason Major, Elijah Jones. I'm not saying Elijah
This
Jones,
is supposed to be our year. Besides the O-line, every position group was there.
I was gonna say. It's not like we had our entire core from last year. We did lose some pieces.
No, but not too many. But we also had guys.
Even Elijah Jones, Jason Major coming
talent.
back, Phil Jacoby coming back, Zay Flowers.
Now we had young
back.
guys that were supposed to have breakout years. Bryce Steele, C.J. Burton. You had Joe Griffin, the freshman, who I think has been a bright spot this year.
Vinny
but
DePalma.
Who knows if he's going to stay?
Vinny DePalma came back. Marcus Valdez came back.
Jalen Blackwell was supposed to step up big time this year, and he's been solid. I'll give him credit for that. But
Jaden Woodby came back. I mean, so many pieces came back in this team.
Yeah, so many guys are coming back to boost their draft stock. Zay Flowers returned for another year to boost his draft stock. I still think he'll be probably a second-round pick. Obviously, a tough game against UConn, but he's been a lead all year regardless. So I think one bad game against UConn is not going to change everything, but still. I don't think Phil's going to be able to declare for the draft and get drafted. Maybe he'll be a 6th, 7th-round pick if he's lucky based on intangibles.
Based on his height
physical size, that's what I mean.
Yeah, measurables. But I don't know. I mean, he's 12 of 19, 155 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks against UConn. That's just inexcusable.
Brutal.
And then 5 turnovers.
I realistically think Phil's going to transfer to another program this offseason and try to save his career. Do I think it's going to work?
Does he have a year
No.
after the eligibility?
He has one more year after this.
Wow.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to another program and try to save his draft stock for 1 year. Yeah.
You can't play against UConn. I mean, it's tough. I mean, at the end of the day, UConn could have won this game by more. They had 10 penalties for 60 yards. A lot of those being false starts. BC had 2 penalties for 30 yards. UConn dominated the turnovers, 5-0. So it doesn't help Djokovic if the offense only has 3 points. And
it's crazy too the way.
turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, what you said, 5 turnovers to 0. The way that Halfley always talks about winning the turnover battle, forcing plays on defense. I mean, we haven't really been seeing any of that this year. Defense is something that Halfley's always prided himself on. He's a defensive backs guy. We really haven't seen that from the defense this year, which is the craziest thing. That's honestly been the biggest regression to me besides quarterback play, which we didn't really have last year anyway. It was a big drop from 2 years ago.
I always thought he was a little bit overrated, but Djokovic, I always thought he was a little overrated.
I thought 2 years ago he was elite.
He was tough. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be probably 1 more year for Halfley if the team doesn't get back on track next year, and then who knows what the future holds after that. But BC has a tough game this weekend.
I'm not too confident BC's going to get rid of him with Lee. You know how he feels. And then the new AD, Blake James, just released a statement the other day in the Boston Globe saying how much he believes in Halfley and how he's disappointed this season, but he believes in Halfley long term and all that. And I mean, he had a history too, Blake James at Miami of I forget the coach's name, but not frying a certain coach. And he actually made pretty much identical remarks like 5 years ago about how he believes in this coach. That
Diaz was it?
Yeah, it was Diaz and the guy before that actually. He made comments about the same thing, just kind of never really ended up doing anything about it until he got fired.
Cristobal they got now.
Yeah, so
it was Diaz before that. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game this
just a mess.
weekend.
The administration, the coaching, everything. We definitely need a new offensive coordinator at the end of the season. The whole offense is a mess. Play calling, talent, everything. It just needs work everywhere. Yeah, we do have playmakers. That's the thing, too. We got Pat Garrow, Alex Broom in the backfield. I'm two big fans of both those guys. Zay, I've always been a big fan of. Jalen Gill, he didn't have a good game, but I still believe in him. I'd like to see Takix do more, but we haven't really seen much of him this season. Phil hasn't really
opportunities.
Yeah. He had a good game against Rutgers.
Got banged up a little now, right?
Yeah. O-line's been abysmal. I still think that was one of the biggest mistakes by Halfley this year is not going to the portal to find O-line, at least some O-line depth. We got freaking walk-ons playing right now. It's just crazy.
That's the problem right there.
Me and you could probably get up there and give it a run.
The slot safety work.
Yeah, seriously.
Slot wide receiver / safety work.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, we could get on the scout team maybe at pace this year's gone. Yeah.
At this point, why not, right? But it'll be a tough game this weekend against Duke. Duke coming in 5-3 on the year, 2-2 in the ACC, averaging 34.38 points per game. And then if you look at it, outscored their opponents. Pretty much a lot of their wins were blowout wins, a good amount of them, which I'm going to name some. 30-0, 49-20, 38-17, 45-21 over Miami a few weeks ago. Now they're coming off a bye week as well. In fact, they're coming off a bye week. BC coming off a loss to UConn. And they've also scored 30-plus points in 6 out of 8 games.
Oof.
So BC's going to have a tough game, especially with a mobile quarterback that is very similar to Daniel Jones, actually. If you look at it, obviously he's not Daniel Jones at the end of the day, since DJ obviously had a first-round, second-round grade, really. I don't know what this kid's grade is. Obviously it's probably a couple years anyway.
Yeah, probably not too high. Or probably not as high as Daniel Jones, I mean.
No, Jones was like a second-rounder in most. This kid's only a sophomore, so he has some ways to go. But 6'4", 212, similar measurables to Daniel Jones. You look at stats on the year, can run the ball, 78 carries, 481 yards, and 8 rushing touchdowns, with 60.13 rushing yards per game. Passing, 143 completions and 223 attempts, with a 64% completion percentage, so pretty good there. 1,693 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 picks, at 211 passing yards per game. So that's just about 211 and 60, 271 yards per game. BC's going to struggle.
We're going to have our hands full. I mean, unless the defense steps up and plays big time, I mean, Duke has a really good defense this year. They're just a complete team. And it's crazy to think the way that we went from dominating them 2 years ago to now. Probably going to get, maybe not blown out, lose by 2 touchdowns, 10 points for lucky. It's just crazy. And I don't think our offense is going to be able to hang with their, they got a high-powered offense this year as well.
They score points.
You just said that. Yeah, they put up points on the board. It's going to be real tough for us to keep up with that. The O-line, Phil. We just haven't been getting playmakers the ball as well. And, Zay's really been the only bright spot in our offense this year.
Yeah.
Outside of that Louisville game where guys like Alex Broom break out a little bit. Just really not too confident in the team at this point. And I truthfully think we're going to go 2-10 by the end of the year. If I'm giving a score prediction for this game, I'm going to go 34-13 Duke.
I think mine was 37-17, 34-17, 37-17, somewhere around there.
20-21 point spread.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised. I think we'll keep it close the first half, similar to the Clemson game. I think the energy is going to be high with it being really the last home game, at least for students. Student section will be packed and going crazy as usual. We'll bring the energy, but I just think halftime is going to come. The team's going to get worn out. We're going to start to see a lot of the same woes we've been seeing the last few weeks. Just the ineptness on offense. It's just problems all over the field. Defense, offense, it's everything really this season. So,
it's been
to
bad.
be honest, as a fan, I just completely lost faith in this team. And I don't see anything getting better until there's serious changes made in the offseason.
One guy to look out for in that Duke defense is Brendan Johnson, defensive back, sophomore, 5'10", 180 from North Carolina, coming off his best game of the season against Miami. 8 tackles, an assisted tackle, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 of those being sacks. An interception and a fumble recovery. He's been all over the field all year. Second on the team in tackles for loss at 5.5. Actually, first on the team in sacks with 3.5, tied with R.J. Oben, a defensive tackle, defensive end. So pretty impressive. A guy in the secondary has the most sacks for them and second most tackles for loss. He also has the most interceptions on the team, tied with 2. Has a couple fumble recoveries, which is second on the team, and a forced fumble on the year as well. This kid's all over the field. This kid's all over the field.
Yeah, he's going to cause issues, especially with guys like Phil. Huh.
This kid's all over the field. They do have a defensive lineman, Dwayne Carter, defensive tackle, coming off a pretty good game a few weeks ago with a tackle for a loss, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery against Miami with 2 solo tackles. He has 7 tackles for loss on the year, 23 total tackles, and 2.5 sacks. So very good year for him. Brandon Johnson, that guy I just mentioned, 32 total tackles. He's been very impressive. So, I don't know, all over the place. This team can score, as you can tell, as well. Riley Leonard, their quarterback, one guy to watch out for. I'm a big fan of him. From his measurables, he looks like Daniel Jones. The other day, I haven't watched too many Duke games. I watched 2 Duke games at the beginning of the year. 2 Duke games at the beginning of the year I've watched. So I haven't watched too many Duke games. It's been a while since I've seen them play. But I remember at the beginning of the year when they were hot. They started off the season 2-0. I watched a little bit of their games. I said, wow. It might have been week 3 I watched their game. I said, well, they're going to beat BC by 13.5. I said, I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
They started hot this season too. They were 4-0 or something.
Yeah.
Which is nuts because, they've had a tough last couple of years too. So, don't really follow Duke football too closely, but something changed, whether it was coaching. I don't think it was coaching, though. I don't think they made any coaching changes yet.
It might just be...
Could just be culture. Guys getting
older. I think they might have a
developing.
new coach. I think David Cutcliffe is gone. I believe he is.
Okay.
I think it is new coaching. But one guy to watch out for, another guy is Jordan Waters, their running back. Don't know too much about him. I remember watching the game. I think it was a quarterback. I really saw some Leonard. I don't really remember too much about their running back, but 83 carries on the year, 422 total yards, 410 as a net. 7 touchdowns, 51 rushing yards per game, and then a receiver. Jalen Calhoun, number 1 in receptions and receiving yards, 31 catches for 443 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that's a guy to watch out for, obviously. So BC will have their hands full. My prediction is 37-17. What do you got, Zach?
Yeah, I got 34-13. Either way, I mean, we can both agree it's probably going to be UConn by somewhere around 20.
Duke by 20.
Yeah.
Duke by 20. But same thing.
Give me UConn. If we play UConn,
you made.
Yeah.
Hammer the over. Hammer the over. You made, baby. Cover the spread and the over.
Long day. But, yeah, I mean, either way, I got us losing to Duke by 21 Friday. I just don't think the energy from the team is going to be there. Everyone just seems defeated on the field. I mean, the talent we had at least to start the season. The O-line play has been brutal. Phil's regressed. The defense has regressed, particularly the defensive secondary. I mean, and it's hard to believe in this team at this point. I mean, I feel like every week I come in and when me and Joe just talk predictions for the BC football games, I'm always saying, I got us in an upset. But this is probably one of the first times I've said, this is it. I got Duke by 20. Because, I mean, you know me. I said we're going to win the Red Bandana game a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I thought the energy was going to be high.
That's interesting.
With that, but
I trust the Giants every week, so I get it. But this Duke team is scoring a lot of points. Another thing is, I mean, they have 2 running backs. Jordan Waters, who I mentioned, redshirt junior, 7 touchdowns on the year. And then they also have another guy, Jalen Coleman, who's coming off a great game a few weeks ago, 19 carries, 96 yards. Also, if you look at it, he's got 4 touchdowns too. So they spread the ball around, and that's going to be tough for BC, averaging 61 rushing yards per game, which is actually number 1 on the team.
We always struggle against teams like that, too, that have 2 dynamic running backs. You saw that with NC State. Yeah, especially mobile quarterback, too. Forget it. When we saw this with the team last year, that was even better than this year. But, I mean, teams that have 2 dynamic running backs, take Syracuse, NC State, we just got blown up by both those teams defensively. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that again. I mean, our Russian defense has been not great. It hasn't been the killer of this team, but we've been taken over by mobile quarterbacks and shifty running backs.
In taller receivers, Wake Forest, we struggled with 6'3", 6'4" receivers.
We do have a lot of undersized defensive backs. TJ Burton, Amari Jackson.
Yeah. Elijah Jones kind of big, 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
He's not 6'2",
He's had a tough year, though. Penalties, coverage, and everything.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, honestly, we're still playing him out there, but I don't really know who else we play instead of him.
He played well in one game over the last year. I remember saying he actually had a decent game. It wasn't against UConn. Might have been Clemson. I don't remember. He had a decent game.
He was playing well against Clemson actually until he got hurt.
He made some big tackles, too.
He stepped up big. He had a brutal week at Louisville the week before.
Yeah.
He had 2 back-to-back pass interferences allowing a big Louisville drive, and then he gave up a big play as well. I think the same drive, and it was just like, come on.
Yeah.
But he stepped back up in the Clemson game, so I'll give him that. I think Maitre's been good this year.
Maitre's my favorite player on the team.
Yeah, we've been knowing that.
I'm a big Maitre guy.
I like him too.
Big Maitre guy. He's my favorite player. He plays with heart. But BC's
he's always playing hard. He's always running across the field.
Tough run for BC here, going up against 2 running backs that are good.
Season.
Which Jalen Coleman, I mentioned, coming off his best game, played against Virginia, 19 carries, 96 yards. Hasn't played since that game, so it's been 3 or 4 weeks. He hasn't played. So Jordan Waters is their lead back. And then obviously Riley Leonard. But for BC, I guess one thing you're looking for is cutting the turnovers down, I guess. 5-0 last week.
Yeah, just trying to make the turnover battle even close, I guess. I mean, the goal is always to win the turnover battle, but the way the season's going and the way Phil looks and the way we've been taking care of the ball, I'd be happy going -1 in the turnover battle. We've done that before. We were -2 against Louisville when we won that game. So we don't necessarily have to win the turnover battle. Obviously, that helps. But, I mean, if we can even make it close. But if we go -5 in the turnover battle, just forget it. There's no shot we have of winning the game. You can't give away the ball 5 times and never take the ball away and expect to win a game. It's just not possible.
And Duke also has a very good offensive line. They've only given up 12 sacks on the year, which is second least in the ACC. BC, 29 sacks, and they have given up second most in the ACC. So second in the ACC, BC is against sacks against. They've given up 29, versus Duke being 13th out of 14, giving up only 12 on the year. So their offensive line's good. Then you look at BC's pass rush, only 16 sacks on the year, which is 4th worst in the ACC. Duke, only 19. So the pass rush isn't that great for Duke. You look at interceptions, though. BC really doesn't have too many on the year, only 6 picks on the year. Duke, even less, 5. So neither team, I guess, is going to kill you with their secondary. But tough season for BC, obviously. And when you look at it, like you said, the season's already over, basically being 2-6. Because you have to win 4 straight. You're not going to win 4 straight.
Yeah, Boyan.
I guess 3 wins would be a win. I mean, if you've got one more win, I guess it would be a good season, a good finish of the season. You finish 1-3, I guess, in the last 4.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad even just to get a win because we're playing 4 good teams the rest of the way. So if we won 1, I'd be happy with it. I just don't know if we're going to see another win on campus, though. I guess that's probably our last one, Louisville, realistically, having our last 2 home games be Duke and Syracuse, both of who have been having really good seasons. relative, especially Syracuse. Credit to them. They were so close to knocking off Clemson the other week. And they've had a great season. They really brought everything together. I mean, do you think 2 years ago, looking at the way we played Syracuse, did we beat them 2 years ago? Or did we even play them?
We played them 2 years ago. They beat us, though, 2 years ago, I believe.
Did they? I think we won. It was like 16-13 or something.
Maybe we did, yeah. We did
Grossell?
win that game. Yeah, Grossell was going to say, yes, we did win that game. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And last year they beat us with Schrader and Tucker. Had really good games.
Yeah, and that's when we had Grossell and everything was falling apart offensively.
You're right.
But yeah, I mean, you think 2 years ago the way the trajectory of our program looked versus the trajectory of theirs, with a team like Dino Babers maybe getting fired, and then Jeff Hafley comes and takes this program and everything's on the way up. You'd think we'd be in opposite positions right now. You'd think BC would be 16 or 20 or whatever Syracuse is right now, and Syracuse would be 2-6 and unranked. But I mean, here we are. So it's been a series of poor decisions from the coaching staff, particularly from Hafley, both hiring decisions in terms of hiring the right offensive coordinators, play callers, and filling holes in the roster. I mean, the offensive line this season, refusing to dip into the transfer portal, which, I mean, I respect the way that he's going about that and saying that he believes in the guys that he recruits and develops and everything. But when you have to start a walk-on guy at left guard, you're not going to have a successful season. Yeah, whatever.
I think it was both. No, we had two walk-ons at one point, didn't we?
Yeah, we did at one point.
We had a couple walk-ons.
We have a kid that played D-line who was buried in the depth chart starting at
Jackson
center.
S?
Yeah, Jackson S. Nice kid.
Yeah,
I've met him before. I've had a couple classes. Great kid.
Met him in rotation. Nice kid.
But I mean, it's just brutal that we have a former defensive lineman that was buried in the depth chart starting at center now. It's just crazy.
Dwayne Alec was buried in the depth chart.
Complete oversight on the coaching staff, right?
Dwayne Alec starts.
Yeah, he was in our theater class.
He was. BC actually has thrown the most picks in the ACC this year with 9, and then also only have 12 touchdowns on the year in 8 games, which is brutal. 12 touchdowns in 8 games is sad. That's tough. I mean, there are actually some ACC teams with less. Well, some ACC teams with less offensive touchdowns on the year. Georgia, Tech, Virginia only have 6 touchdowns.
Still don't want to be in that crew, though.
Only have 6 touchdowns, dude.
It's nuts.
Yeah, no, Clemson gets that a week.
I guess we got lucky in that Louisville game. What did we probably get 4 that game?
Yeah. So in our main,
that might have been the last touchdown. That was the last touchdown we got, wasn't it? Oh no, we got one against Wake.
No, we got one against Wake. We did. We got a touchdown against Wake.
Second to last touchdown was against Louisville. It was Parents' Weekend on campus.
Which Malik Cunningham stays healthy. BC doesn't win that game. They're 0-5 in the ACC. If you don't win that game, so
yeah,
pretty lucky game there.
Yeah, at that point we could have been 1-11, which is nuts. And I mean,
probably should have lost that game. If Malik didn't go out for 3 possessions, I think that team wins. I think Louisville wins.
Yeah, and we're seeing the effects of it on campus. People calling for Hafley's job already. People wanting to bring in replacements. One guy whose name I've heard, I think it's a long shot, the Holy Cross head coach. I honestly don't remember his name, but he's really taken that program and turned them around. I think they're 7-0 right now, top of the Patriot League. I mean, they look good. So
yeah,
I mean, at this point, it'd be interesting. I bet he's a local guy and seems to have success running a football program. So
and then Holy Cross would give us a game. So
yeah. At this point, I wouldn't even be certain playing Holy Cross.
UMaine honestly gave us a game, and once UMaine gave us a game, I was like,
UMaine's not even at the top of the FCS. I mean, we play Holy Cross. Holy Cross is ranked Holy Cross is top 10 in the FCS right now, which is nuts. So
yeah.
We play them. It's definitely not going to be 55-0 or whatever it was 4 years ago. I mean, we're going to see a real game.
I like UMaine a lot. They play hard. I like UMaine.
Yeah, you do like them.
Big fan of them. Dogs.
They play well for a team that
small school.
Doesn't recruit much talent. Yeah,
small school. They tackle very well. Me and my curly sports guru were talking about that.
If only BC could play at that, would be 8-0 right now. But
probably.
Here we are looking at 2-6.
It's tough, obviously. One thing I wanted to update you guys on: World Series Game 4 is tonight. Phillies up 2-1 in the series. Tough game for the Phillies so far, down 5-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Not even having a hit yet for the Phillies, being shut out, no hits, no runs. Christian Javier has been electric on the mound for the Astros. Start of the game, 4 2/3 innings, now 5 innings. Just got his 3rd out of the 5th inning. 5 innings, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, no hits, no runs, with a .77 ERA in the postseason. And the Astros have been clutch. Yuli Gurriel's 2 for 3 with an RBI. Alex Bregman 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs, and then Jordan Alvarez is 1 for 2 with an RBI as well, with a double from Kyle Tucker and a double from Alex Bregman, his 4th in the postseason. Aaron Nola starting of the Phillies, 4 innings, 7 hits, 300 runs, 4 strikeouts, no walks, with a .491 ERA in the postseason. And then Jose Alvarado came in for 1 inning in relief, giving up 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, no walks, raising his postseason ERA to 4.5. And one thing with the Phillies is they usually hit a lot and score a lot of runs, as you saw last night with 5 home runs in the first 5 innings, which is actually a World Series record, but end up finding themselves down 5-0 now in Game 4, which Game 5 would be tomorrow, I believe. Yes, it'd be tomorrow, I believe. I'll make sure here. There is an off day in between. It would be tomorrow, yes, at 8:03 p.m., and then Friday night will be an off day with them heading back to Houston. So if the Astros win tonight, the game will be heading back to Houston no matter what.
Hey, go Phils, baby.
Yes, go Phillies, baby. Phillies at 6.
Absolutely. Yes, now moving to some Celtics and NBA talk. Celtics right now sit 4-2 in the season. I'm feeling pretty good about the way they look so far. I'm a fan of new coach Joe Mazzulla. I think he's taking the program in good hands. Right now, playing the Cleveland Cavs, tied up at 107 with 6 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Cavs hit the ball. Looking to be a good game. Cavs are really good this year, so good that we're hanging on a game like this because there was a couple games earlier this season that I was really concerned about. Particularly, what was that one game we played?
Bulls got blown out by 30.
Yeah, we were up 20 points in the first quarter, and then
or whatever run.
that was seemed like the pre-January 2022 Celtics right there. What was it, last Monday or whatever? That was really hard to watch. It's just blow that lead. There was no defense, no hustle, no nothing. But it seems like we're bringing it back. Playing a close game against the Cavs. Should have had the last one. We played the Cavs last week and lost by 9. But definitely want to get this win in Cleveland because they're a good team, and I think they're going to be one of the top teams in the East this year. I think at the start of the year I had them like 4th.
I had them 3rd or 4th. I had them in the Eastern
Conference
Finals.
At this rate, I think they're going to be top 3 the way they're looking right now. It looks to be Bucks, Celtics, Cavs, probably top 3 in the Eastern.
I think I got the Bucks first. That was my prediction, and then Clippers and the Warriors. The Jazz.
I think I had Celtics, Bucks, and Clips, Warriors, and I had the Celtics Warriors rematch in the finals.
Yeah.
Which Celtics look legit so far. Warriors not so much, but I still think the Warriors are going to come back. I mean,
they'll be fine.
2-4.
Clips
they're going to find the stride. Same with the Clips. I mean, they just got too much talent.
The Warriors 0-4 on the road, and they usually dominate both home and on the road. So they'll be fine. I mean, Celtics, here we are.
Yeah, they just need to wake up. They're the same team they did last year. They probably got a little bit of fatigue after winning the championship only, 4 months ago now. Here we go with the Celtics game live. 6 seconds left.
107, 6.7 seconds to go with Cleveland inbounding the ball in their own offensive end. And look at it. I mean, it's a tie game, 5 seconds. Celtics win this game with Cleveland being 5-1. Was an accomplishment on its own.
Donovan Mitchell for the
three. What a block by Tatum. Tatum with a block from the 3. Huge block. So Celtics win OT.
There we go. We'll keep you guys posted.
Big OT game there. Absolutely. Yeah. Tatum in the game's having a good game.
Doing at Cleveland's home, yeah.
24 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 blocks. With 5 turnovers. The turnovers are tough, but 7-17 from the field, 2-7 from 3. Jaylen Brown, 28 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists with a steal, and then also a +8 rating. Tatum has a -15 rating with 4 blocks. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe it's just because he's been out there. He's been out there 37 minutes. Brown's been out there 39.
Yeah, he's been out there pretty much the whole game.
Wow. And then Horford's had a good game.
Horford's +12 right
now. Smart, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. And then Grant Williams, 11.6 rebounds. And then obviously Malcolm Brogdon, very good player for the bench.
Yeah,
15
super
points,
efficient
4
off the
rebounds,
bench.
3 assists, shooting
6 for 11 shooting too.
field.
I mean, he's going to be a huge key moving forward in this season, having a playmaker like him, especially putting him in the middle of the Jays and Grant Williams, putting him in the middle of a bunch of shooters. I think the Celtics is a great fit for him. And I'm really excited to see the way he continues to play throughout the season. I'm already really impressed. And I think he was definitely a hole we had in our roster, having a second playmaker. I don't really like the way that we've been sitting Pritchard, to be honest. I'm a big fan of Pritchard, so I like to be seeing him get some actual minutes. But it seems that Joe Mazzulla found his guy in Malcolm Brogdon and Marcus Smart to run the point. So when it is what it is, I hope to see Pritchard get back out there. But I can't complain at those 2 guards that we have on the floor right now.
So positives for the Celtics are up 9-1 in the block ratio, so they're out blocking Cleveland 9-1. They're also winning in the free throw percentage as well, 26-27, which is very good for the Celtics, 96%. Cleveland's only shooting 19-24 to 79%. Points in the paint, 19 points of Celtics in the paint, 19 up 36 in the paint, shooting 52%. As for 3-pointers, both teams are cold, 28% from the Celtics, 28% from Cleveland. Both teams shooting cold in the paint. As a field goal percentage, both of them being 42%, 42.7 for the Celtics, 42.9 for the Cavs. So pretty even game, 107-107.
Yeah, pretty average shooting from both teams.
52 rebounds for the Celtics, 53 for the Cavs, 25 assists for the Celtics, 21 for the Cavs, 4 steals for the Celtics, 6 for the Cavs. Pretty even all around besides the blocks, 9-1, turnovers, Celtics have 4 more, 13-9, losing that ratio there, but pretty even game.
Well, yeah, you got 2 pretty evenly matched teams. I think Cleveland's got a load of young talent. Right now you got Evan Mobley. I think he's going to be one of the next big man stars in the NBA. Jared Allen, I've always been a big fan of him. Lockdown defensive center, great rebounding.
Evan Mobley beast, yeah.
Darius Garland's finally back after a little eye injury in Game 1. He's off to a hot start, 26 points tonight, 11 assists, 5 boards. Karis LeVert, always been a fan of him since his Brooklyn days. Donovan Mitchell, too. It's just the whole package. They got a start at 5 that can do everything.
Kevin Love off the bench.
Everything's starting to come together.
Marvin Lopez isn't a bad guy off the bench. Got 5 minutes. Chetty Osman doesn't really contribute on the offensive end, but 4 rebounds. They have a pretty deep team all around. especially
Yeah, they
considering
do.
a lot of scorers there. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Karis LeVert, three guys that like to score the ball. Which, as
Mobley
you see,
too.
29 points from Garland, 23 points from Mitchell, 15 for LeVert, 8 rebounds for LeVert, 11 from Jared Allen. Assists, too. I mean, again, a ton, 11 from Garland, like you said. 4 assists from LeVert, 5 from Donovan Mitchell. And then also the shooting, a ton, obviously. Donovan Mitchell's 10 of 25, 9 of 18 for Garland, 4 of 12 for LeVert. But that's just their type of game they shoot, all three of those guys.
And yeah, that's just what it is. Both teams have plenty of guys that love to put up 25 shots a game, so it is what it is.
A 3 to start the 3 for Cleveland to start the overtime period now. So Celtics find themselves down 3 or 4
I gotta stop looking
minutes
at the box score because I think that game's behind.
Yes, it is a second behind. It's a little bit behind. There's a layup for him, Marcus Smart. Now a 1-point game. It is behind probably about 20 seconds, so you guys probably ahead of us by probably a minute. Realistic statistics, like 20 seconds behind already.
Yeah.
And add in the 20 seconds.
For anyone listening to this,
from the studio, we're 20 seconds behind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just give you guys a breakdown just to
if anyone's listening to this on Spotify, skip 20 seconds ahead.
Yes, yeah, why not? If you're listening to live, I mean, you see the game right here. Johnny Galloway, baby. Bowling Green's playing tonight. MACtion, baby. Tonight, I'm a big fan of the MAC, as you guys know. I broke down some of the games from last night. There's two games tonight, two big ones. Central Michigan playing Western Michigan, finding themselves down in this game. Central Michigan playing Northern Illinois, 35-22, Central Michigan's up, and then Bowling Green is up 13-9 over Western Michigan with a minute to go. Johnny Galloway plays at, what do you call it? He transferred to Bowling Green, yes. No, Bowling Green's CJ
Lewis.
CJ Lewis, and then Western Michigan is Giovanni Galloway. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Both those guys
playing.
Playing
Boys going to that. Two of your favorite XBC receivers.
Galloway's 4 of 4 catches for 15 yards, so not the most efficient night, but 5 targets. And then CJ Lewis has a carry for -1 and 1 catch for 15 yards. So neither guy's having a crazy night, but they've both gotten touches, especially considering being a smaller school, they're going to get chances on the field. So hopefully they get more touches. But Bowling Green 4-4 in the year.
For sure. I was always a big fan of CJ Lewis on BC, especially 2 seasons ago when he was getting a lot of usage in the red zone.
Should have kept up.
Had a lot of big catches. But yeah, he was. We don't really have any red zone threats right now, and he was elite.
I don't blame him for leaving.
You throw up the ball for him, and he's coming down with it half the time. So
I don't blame him for leaving.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was kind of weird the way we kind of buried him in the depth chart at the end of last year. So yeah, not really surprised the manner in which he left. Obviously sucks as a fan, but when you got to understand, he's not getting minutes, he's not getting snaps, especially for a talented receiver like him. Kind of weird coaching decision in my opinion, playing a guy like Jaden Williams last year over him, having like a third, smaller, shiftier receiver, who's been stepping away from the team now. Jaden Williams, we'll see what happens with him after the season.
Yeah, what happens stepping away? He's taking time off?
Yeah, he's had a couple off the field issues.
Got you. Yeah, I saw that. So, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was like an injury or something, or he's recovering. I didn't know too much about it, but hopefully, obviously, he's back on the field. Hopefully, things are good with him.
Yeah, I hope so. She's pretty good. I mean, he's fast, he's shifty. He's not quite Zappe Flowers.
He's just taking time off. I thought about an injury, but hopefully, he's all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope so. But
I mean, it's been a tough year for BC. He might as well take care of himself.
Yeah, at the end of the day, just got to get ready for next year. But that being said, with some of the rumors swirling around him, I wouldn't be surprised to see him hit the portal in the offseason. I mean, we'll see. I mean, there's always a chance he comes back, runs it back for another year, because I think he's a good asset to have on our team, considering that Zay will go to the NFL. And I think Jalen Gill, almost positive he has one more year of eligibility. I don't see him coming back to BC for his final year of college football.
Gill? Probably not.
So Jaden Williams could be wide receiver 1 next year if he comes back. Joe Griffin will probably be up there in the starting lineup.
112, 109 Cavs.
Third spot's open.
Yeah, definitely is a possibility. Obviously, some of those guys leave, like Dracovic, like Jaden Williams. Zay Flowers obviously be gone. Obviously, there's some question marks there of what the future holds for Halfley.
We're going to have a lot of holes in the whole roster. Tackix leaving after this year. This is the last year of eligibility.
Would be
the whole offensive
Matry,
line. Or have Mahogany
Jones,
back.
Marcus Valdez,
Mm-hmm.
Vinny De Palma. They'll all be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Mahogany
to think about.
Sheeta Salah will be back. So it's about they'll probably be captains, actually, both of them. Realistically, both of us being probably the only seniors for the most part, because our whole recruiting class really was not great at all.
No, our entire grade was really Zay, Mahogany, DeBerry.
And Sheeta Salah. That was it.
Yeah.
It wasn't really.
Yeah, I bet DeBerry will probably declare after this year. I don't know. I think he could be a late round draft pick.
Fifth or sixth.
Yeah.
5th or 6th round. Maybe 6th round.
I think he's got the athleticism and the size.
A little bit small. I'd say 6th round. I always
Good
compare
slot
him.
Corner, though.
I compare him to former BC cornerback Cam Cheevers, who was similar size as DeBerry, but Cam Cheevers led college football actually in picks one year and didn't even end up getting drafted Was an undrafted free agent, I believe, and then just never made it in the NFL. So if DeBerry could stay another year, maybe it could help his draft stock. But at the end of the day, who knows? When that's a decision he'll make. Just like Cam Chivas made a decision to leave as a junior and ends up not getting drafted. And that obviously hurt his chances of playing in the NFL in the future. And I think he was an undrafted free agent to the Titans and never made it. He's a small corner. I think they listed him at like 5'9", 5'10". Was not a big guy. 5'10", 180.
Yeah, not a huge guy.
5'10", 180, but was really good at BC. He was a lockdown corner. Had a ton of picks. I think he had 7 one year. His last year at BC in 2018. Me and my crew were big fans of him. Great player. 7 picks, led college football. Also had a pick 6, an 81-yard return. And then also helped in the run game too. Could tackle well. 27 tackles as a junior, which isn't bad for a smaller cornerback.
Yeah, it's impressive, especially for a guy at that size.
Wasn't bad at all. I liked him a lot. Quarterback kid, 7 pass breakups.
Yeah, I can definitely see the DeBerry
Fumble
comparisons
recovery,
in there.
forced fumble, yeah. Similar size. I think he was better than DeBerry, and I think DeBerry could stay another year. Could help him maybe. Who knows? But decision he'll make at the end of the day.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him leave just because that was kind of a similar decision they made for this year when he came back for this year. I didn't think he was going to get drafted last year anyway, but one of the things he mentioned when he said he decided to come back was the fact that he wanted to boost his draft stock a little bit and come back and, finish what they started here at BC. Even though it didn't end up happening and we're having an all-time bad season, he's still been a bright spot, I think, on the defense this year. For the most part, a couple of tough games, but he's still been playing like himself, which is good to see. So I think he could get drafted 6th or 7th round this year if he goes and declares, which I think is the most likely scenario. I don't really see him coming back to BC for another year, just both because of the way everything's been going this year and just because he's probably able to get drafted now if he wants to. So it's probably the best route for him at this point.
Definitely.
Along with the guy Zay Flowers, too. In my mind, I think those are going to be the only 2 guys that get drafted after this season. I don't think Phil's going to be included in there with the way things have looked this season.
The major 6th or 7th round, maybe I'd take him in the 7th, 6th or 7th. He plays hard. I'd draft him.
I would like to get him, too, yeah.
If I was a GM, I'd draft him, but obviously the NFL.
I just think it's going to be kind of a Brandon Sebastian situation where a little bit undersized for a safety. And Brandon
more
Sebastian's
physical than
corner,
Brandon Sebastian, though, which I like.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid to tackle. I think you need that in the NFL, especially today's day. Cornerbacks have to tackle, safeties have to
I just think the
tackle.
athleticism, too, it's not quite there compared to some of the other guys coming out of similar schools. So I think he'll definitely get the chance to make a roster. I think he'll be heavily involved in training camps and whatnot, but I think he might be a 7th rounder, probably cut off undrafted. But either way, I think he might be able to find some success in the NFL wherever he ends up,
Definitely. Celtics right now find themselves down 114 to 113 with a second to go. Cavaliers have the ball, or Jaylen Brown actually has the ball, I believe. So it's Celtics hold the ball, but it says here Celtics Cavs timeout. So interesting. I don't know because I streamed the second bounce. I'm looking on ESPN as well on an app as well.
Here it's saying we got the defensive rebound and
timeout
called timeout. 1.7 seconds left on the clock.
Yes. So
Let's
see
see
how
what
the Celtics do. 1.7 to go, down by 1. Clippers right now up the Rockets 109, 101. Looking for the second win in a row to get back to 500. Paul George having a great game. 21 points, or 28 points of Paul George, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. A steal, shooting 10 of 20 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3. Marcus Morris, 21 points, which I was getting a little slack for the other day saying that Marcus Morris was good. You and Will, one of the big fans of Marcus Morris, be saying that he was out, he was a loss to the Clips. But he is. 21 points, 10 rebounds, shooting 8 of 14 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3. He's a big presence for the Clippers team. Looking for the second win in a row, now being 4-4, hopefully. They did lose 2 in a row to the Thunder, but the Thunder 4-3 on the year. Jazz are overperforming.
Thunder got a solid roster this year. A lot of young guys that
I don't think losing that big is a
talented.
deal. They have 7th right now in the Western Conference.
I mean, it takes a little bit to wake up, too, sometimes. You never know. Look at the Warriors right now. I mean,
better record than the Warriors,
2-4,
Clippers, Mavericks,
back.
Timberwolves, Lakers, Grizzlies. They have a better record than all of those teams in Thunder. So, same record
Lakers
as the
is
Nuggets.
nothing impressive.
Same record as all those teams, or same record
You know
as
how I feel about
the
the
Grizzlies, same record as the Nuggets, but a better record than the Timberwolves, Dallas, LA Clippers, Warriors, Lakers. I mean, it's pretty impressive. They're 4-3. Better record than the Sixers. I mean, than the Heat, than the Knicks. I mean, they're not that bad of a team.
Early in the season stuff, it's weird the way the standings are looking right now.
Jazz
All the
6-2.
former contenders are starting to get flipped upside down.
Spurs 5-3.
Seen teams with the Blazers, Grizzlies. Been a lot of
Spurs.
interesting teams seen up top. Yeah, Spurs have been good.
Pelicans, too.
Yeah, Pelicans are up there. I think the Pelicans are going to be a sneaky good team this year. I had them in my, last time we did this, I had them in my sneaky good teams for this year, teams to watch. I mean, they're just so talented. Brandon Ingram's been breaking out. CJ McCollum was a great fit for that team. I mean, they just got talent all around. And I really think they could be a top 3 team in the West, the way things are looking right now, especially.
I think outside of mine. I think outside of the playoff, maybe a 9 or 10, which I did have prediction. Like, a week or so ago now that I did a
I
couple
didn't
weeks
mention
ago,
Zion.
which the season already started, so I just stayed with my predictions. Wasn't going to change things, and I ended up staying with them being like a 9 or a 10. That's just because what I had before the season started. And they've surprised me. They're playing really well.
That's fair. Maybe next week we'll have to make our full rankings.
Yeah.
East and West.
We do something, yeah.
Go 1 through 8.
Cavs, 114, 113, a second to go. South ball, as I said. Clips just got themselves the win. 109, 101, got back to 4-4 on the year. And then one last game I want to mention was a MAC football game. Bowling Green closing out that game, winning 13-9 over Western Michigan, improving to 5-4 on the year. Western Michigan going to 3-6. Central Michigan right now 2-6 on the year, playing NIU at NIU, 2-6 on the year. Both those teams. Central Michigan up 35-22 with 4 minutes to go, and it looks like the Celtics just lost the game, unfortunately. So lost by 1.
It was a tough.
Garland's a great
Jaylen
game.
Brown to end the game.
29 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, 5 blocks. 5 threes.
Wow, what a way to come back for him coming off that injury and having
29
their first game back.
29, 5, 12.
Impressive.
Couple steals, couple threes. What do you have? Overall?
He's elite. I think he's going to be an all-star this year. Garland. I think this is his breakout season. I mean, he was already great last year.
Three steals,
But I think
5
this is going to
threes.
be the year he finally starts getting recognition. I mean, we already know this. Most improved award every year is always kind of a recognition thing when you go from being
15
a
points
good player to
23.
being kind of a star in the league. And I think Garland's going to be one of those names brought up this year.
Hey, the Cavs
in
are
the
6-1.
conversation.
6-1, only lost one
Yeah.
game in the year. It was the first night, losing by 3.
Yeah,
so,
5-game win streak, 6-game win streak for them. So
yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty
yeah,
good.
they're
They're a good
looking
team.
good.
They're a good
If there's
team.
anything bad I said about them in the offseason, because I said it before, I thought they were going to be good this season, but I didn't think the Donovan Mitchell trade was going to take them over the edge.
I thought they were good before the
But I
Donovan
mean, they're
Mitchell.
starting to prove me wrong.
And then with Donovan Mitchell, I was like, wow, they're going to be a 3 or 4. I was all with them. I was with them. I mean, I was with some teams that haven't worked out. Raiders, Colts, what can you do? But I stay with those predictions.
It is what it is. They look good. on
I mean,
paper.
they should be better.
They're
I
good on
what can you
paper.
do? Luckily, I didn't bet. I just said it on the podcast, and at the end of the day, saying something wrong right here. You got to have hot takes. If you say something wrong,
Yeah,
it's fine. It's part of the sport, part of the industry. So, what
Yeah,
can
it
you
is
do?
what it is. You make predictions, and some of them are right, some are wrong.
Grizzlies up right now, 12-2 over the Blazers. Grizzlies being 4-3 on the year. Blazers being 5-1. It's one game to just I guess look at really quick since both teams pretty good. Like you said, the Blazers are overperforming expectations right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Glad to see that happening. Let's move in for the last little bit of this. Let's move into the NFL trade deadline. A lot of crazy trades made yesterday afternoon. I mean, just so many moves around the league. Bradley Chubb. I mean, there's just so many guys. Chase Claypool to the
Calvin
Bears.
Ridley.
Calvin Ridley to the Jags. Just huge waves all over the league. Really cool to see. What were your thoughts on yesterday?
I thought there were some moves that were building for next year, like the Bears trading a second-round pick for Chase Claypool. I wasn't the biggest fan of that. I think Claypool's maybe worth a third
Yeah, I
or
don't
fourth.
think Claypool's worth the second-round pick.
I think they were just trying to field help for this year and next. You make that move, you're not winning for now, you're not building for now. Even though they are 3-5, still technically, I guess, in it. I think they're building for next year, maybe just trying to give Justin Fields another person to look to downfield. That was one trade that I didn't really understand, maybe the second-round pick, but I understand the reasoning, giving him some help. Roquan Smith, big trade to Baltimore, second and a fifth-round pick is what the Bears got back in return. The Bears are pretty active. They also traded Robert Quinn to the Eagles for a fourth-round pick, and then also, like I just said, making a trade for Chase Claypool. So adding Claypool, losing Robert Quinn and Roquan Smith, they're two best players probably overall, I'd say. So tough to lose both of those guys. But at the end of the day, they're building for next year. Now they have more draft picks and obviously a lot of money to spend in the offseason, especially considering now they don't have to pay Roquan Smith or Robert Quinn. So not the biggest deal there. And then obviously having a
works out for
quarterback
them.
on a rookie deal. So
Yeah,
they're
got a lot of
built to-
space coming into the summer.
They're building for next year and the next 2 to 3 years to build and then obviously take a step forward. So that was a big trade, obviously, in the Calvin Ridley being traded from the Falcons to Jacksonville for a fifth-round pick and then also a second-round pick. That's the highest both those picks could be. A 2023 fifth-rounder could be a sixth, and then a 2024 second that could be a third or fourth. So max out at a second-round pick. But he's 1 year after $11 million. Very good deal, especially considering every receiver in the NFL today is making $15, $20 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good trade for the Jags there.
What deals are you a fan of, against? Even though I've named them, obviously I've talked about some big ones.
Yeah, one I honestly wasn't as big of a fan of was Roquan Smith getting traded away from the Bears. I like the Robert Quinn move for them just because he's getting up in age, and the Eagles needed a guy like him, and I mean we're willing to give away the assets. Roquan Smith, though, being a younger talent in the NFL, I get that he's a little bit out of their window, but still I think he's one of the best linebackers in the NFL, and I was a little surprised they got rid of him, especially when they're not quite in a full rebuild. They're starting to move into more of a retooling with him, and you got a lot of young pieces like Justin Fields, Cole Kmet to tight end. I mean, I think he's going to break out in a few years. We saw him.
There's some offensive pieces, David Montgomery and obviously Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, they're ready to be
Donnell
all right.
Mooney.
They're not ready to win the Super Bowl.
Donnell
They're
Mooney, now
remotely
Chase
close.
Claypool.
But
Offensive line's a little iffy.
Yeah, if they
Took a
could
couple guys
work
in
on the
draft.
offensive line, their defense a little bit, I think they could. I mean, the way the NFC North has looked this year, outside of the Vikings, I mean,
Packers have
it's a
been
wide
tough.
open division. Yeah, I mean, you got the
Lions
Lions
suck,
and the
1-6.
Packers. So
Lions
I'm kind
made
of
a move.
surprised they got rid of both of those guys. I would think Robert Quinn was given. Roquan Smith definitely surprised me from the Packers side, but I definitely like that trade from the other's perspective, which is cool to see. Another one I didn't really like was the Bears then trading a second for Chase Claypool.
Oh, that was too much, too.
'Cause that was a really weird move, trying to stack up on a receiver, but a guy like Chase Claypool, there's so much more you could have gotten for a second-round pick than him. I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous. That was almost as bad as the Pats trading a second-round pick for Sanu a few years ago.
Mohamed Sanu.
Maybe not that bad, but
Big Sanu guy.
yeah, still am a little perplexed by that, especially considering it seems like they're trying to load up on picks a little bit, getting rid of Roquan Smith, and then going for a guy like Chase Claypool, who really is frankly not worth a second-round pick.
I'd say
No.
maybe third, I'd say fourth tops. I'd give maybe
I don't
a
like
third
him
if
at
I'm
all,
stretching.
but-
I'm a team that needs a third
If
receiver.
you really need
He's
a
not
wide
one. He's a
receiver,
two at
give a
best.
third-round pick for him.
He's a two at best. He was a second-round pick.
He's not a wide receiver one. He's not ready to do that.
He was a second-round pick, and now you're trading a second-round pick for him. Look at that. I mean, the Giants.
Yeah, he hasn't been good for the Steelers either.
No.
The best thing he did was cause drama by not putting the ball back in time. He was going to celebrate last year.
Yeah, celebrate a first down with 20 seconds
I
to
guess
go.
the TikTok era in Pittsburgh is done. That's what they're saying.
Juju
So.
and Claypool both gone. But yeah, Claypool was a second-round pick, and now they get a second-round pick back in return for him, which is pretty impressive. I mean, considering the Giants is trading Kadarius Toney, who was a first-round pick in last year's draft, 2021, 20th overall pick. Then they just got a third and a sixth back in return from the Chiefs, which I thought was a really good return. So for the Steelers getting a second-round pick, that's a great return. If you draft in the second round, you're getting a second-round back. That's a great return, and especially considering Kadarius Toney's more talented. He just doesn't have the headspace to be locked in. I don't think he really cares enough. And I don't think he really wants to win right now. I think he's just
No, I like that trade for you guys too.
Too involved in getting online on Twitter and arguing with people and stuff like that and being distracted.
Yeah, he's not producing.
very
He's causing issues in the locker room. Those are two things that if you want to be a winning franchise, you got to get rid of.
6-2 without him.
Yeah, I mean, you guys haven't even used him. I mean, you need some wide receiver help, but obviously he wasn't the guy. I think everyone's found out. So definitely good, especially getting the third-round pick for a guy like that. I know you gave up a first-round pick from a couple years ago, but I mean, it is what it is. You got a third-round pick from, which is good value the way everything's panned out for him in New York.
We're not winning with
I'm
him,
definitely
so.
happy with that trade if I'm the Giants.
Yeah, I was psyched about it.
And I think Chiefs, too. That's a good trade for them. Giving up a
Both.
third-round pick for a guy that has great potential. A couple locker room issues, but maybe Kansas City is the spot he needs to reinvigorate his career with a guy like Pat Mahomes.
Like Tyreek Hill, he has the ability to do that.
Yeah, he's got that speed.
An A for the Giants, that move, and then a B plus, A minus for the Chiefs. I think it works out. I think it
Yeah,
works out for both.
it works out for both sides perfectly. Giants get the pick, which is what they want. You're trying to get younger, and then Kadarius Toney, too, for the Chiefs.
Helping out Mahomes.
Yeah, it works out.
Help.
Yeah, because they need some help over there, too, offensively. I mean, Juju's good, but they could use a lot of help over there.
Nico Hodman.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely could use a little more
Still a lot
depth.
they need.
Obviously, Travis Kelce, too. Best tight end in the NFL. So, pretty impressive.
You can never have too many weapons, especially if you're Kansas City. So they have to spread the ball around.
That's why they're so good. Demarcus Robinson, Tyreek Hill, and then they had Nico Hodman, and then they had another receiver I'm trying to think of. They still have him now. Byron Pringle as well. I mean, they just stacked a receiver. Stacked a receiver. So,
yeah, now Tony, too. So
Marquez Valdez-Scantling, too, my boy.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
Yes, beast.
It's crazy how many guys they got in there. They're so deep. I don't think the Chiefs are going to win anytime soon. Bills look scary good right now, though. That's definitely the team to watch out for in the league.
Yeah, Bills are winning games. Football in New York, honestly, in general. Jets being 5-3.
Yeah, New York football is really turned
Giants
up.
6-2, and then the Bills as well having a very good year, being 6-1. 6-1 Bills, 6-2 Giants, and the Jets 5-3, holding a playoff spot right now. Actually, the Jets 6th seed in the AFC right now. If the playoffs were to start today, so
they went for the Pats over them Sunday.
Yeah,
that was huge.
It was
slow start, but brought it back. Defense played well. Zach Wilson was atrocious. So glad we took advantage of his mistakes. Got 3 interceptions. Yep.
Forgot it was that. I mean, it feels like 2 weeks ago now because I talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
It has.
But yeah, good win for the Pats. Felt good. I still believe in Mac Jones. Not his best game, but I mean, it is what it is. Devontae Parker's been looking good for us. That's been a bright spot this season for sure.
Yeah, and Zappe and Jones obviously has a competition there, and I wonder what your opinion is on the two of them. Do you like Zappe more? You like Jones more? You with whatever Bill wants? You in the middle? I know a lot of Patriots fans have a side, so I feel like you probably have a side.
Yeah, a lot of people do have a side. And I would say I honestly believe in Belichick's decision making almost completely. I've always been a supporter of Mac. I still am unsure if he's completely the answer to bring us to a Super Bowl. But I think for now, where this roster is, he's good enough to play. And I definitely think he should be the quarterback for at least the next couple of seasons. I didn't really see the same at least, of what other people saw out of Zappe the last couple of games. I mean, the way we dismantled the Browns and the Lions with Zappe, I think we would have done the exact same thing with Mac Jones. And I just think Mac Jones has a slightly better arm than Zappe. I mean, I like Zappe too. I think he'll be a good backup quarterback for us, but I don't think he's ready to be a starting QB in the NFL yet. I just haven't really seen the physicals yet from him, the throwing. I like the way he can move a little bit over Mac. That was one of the big reasons I liked having him in the game. But at the end of the day, I just think Mac's more NFL ready right now. I wouldn't mind seeing it stay to be a competition between the two. But I'm definitely happy that Bill's kind of said that Mac is still our guy, because I think it could have been causing locker room issues too. And, maybe some issues with Mac kind of getting his head a little bit, that he's got to fight for his job, which is never a bad thing. But you don't want it to affect your team adversely. So it's good to see that Mac's still on top of the depth chart. And I think he can still lead us into the playoffs. He did it last year in his rookie season. He's only going to go up from here. So he's just going to get faster, start making better decisions, throwing the ball better. And he's going to improve. He's only, 23 years old. So
yeah, second-year quarterback. He's been behind a bad offensive line, no real weapons, and the Patriots have a lot of wide receiver 2/3s.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. We got no wide receiver ones.
Either.
That's something I didn't mention. Offensive line play has been average this year, and we really have no real weapons, no wide receiver ones. So that's definitely something that people got to take into consideration when looking at that. And it doesn't matter if we score 29 points against the Browns and shut them down. At the end of the day, it's tough without weapons, and I think Mac could have done the same thing in those games.
Yeah, and if you look at it, the Patriots also have Joe Judge and Matt Patricia as their offensive assistant. So that's the main reason I thought Mac was going to regress this year. And then a new offensive system, they're expecting a lot out of him, having him learn a new playbook in his second year. It's very tough to learn a new playbook at all. Look at Daniel Jones. Now he's with his fourth offensive coordinator, third head coach, fourth playbook. Really hard for a quarterback to learn in one playbook. Never mind two, like Mac is now with Daniel Jones now being on his fourth. That's just a tough disadvantage, and Mac doesn't really have much to throw to. Obviously, Zappe didn't really much to throw to either. They're on the same offensive line and same weapons they're working with. Overall in the year, if you want to look at their stats, Mac 3 touchdowns, 993 passing yards with 7 picks. And then Zappe 5 touchdowns with 3 picks with 781 passing yards. Both of those guys leading their team to 2 wins. Jones being 2-3, Zappe being 2-0 in 4 games. A couple starts there. And then 100.9 passer rating for Zappe to 73.1 for Mac. But at the end of the day, Mac's not really working with much. Neither is Zappe, but Zappe also played against 2 bad defenses in Cleveland and it was Detroit and Cleveland, exactly. 2 bad defenses.
Yeah, 2 poor teams. Like I've been saying, Mac could have done the same thing. I really don't think it was Zappe that won another game for us. He played well enough for us to win. He played 2 good games. I'll give it to him. But that Monday night game against the Bears, both quarterbacks, to be honest, with abysmal. But it is what it is. Rookie and a second-year quarterback, you're going to have ups and downs. So I haven't really read into it too heavily. I still think Mac's the guy. He's still young. It's too early to bail on him for sure. We spent a first-round pick on him, which, I'm always the guy that I want to play the better player. But I think that's still Mac, and I haven't really seen enough of Zappe yet to convince me otherwise. So until then, I'm running with Mac all the way.
Yeah, I've run with Mac too. He got you to playoffs last year and also was a Pro Bowl last year. And even though he was an alternate, you can say, he was an alternate Pro Bowl. He's Pro Bowl regardless.
Still in the conversation. So that's all that matters.
He's
getting named with some elite QBs in the AFC. So he played well last year. I think he's going to start to come around again this year.
Definitely.
Just got to give it time. And hopefully the next couple of weeks he continues to heat up. Played a solid game. At least second half, played solid against the Jets, I thought.
One touchdown, one pick, but got the win. That's all that matters at the end of the day. One want to update you guys on.
Played better in the second half.
He did. And that's all you want out of quarterback, especially that people lost confidence in. You just want them to at least find something. If you play better in the second half, you get a win. That's going to breed confidence right there. Astros up 5-0 right now in the top of the 7th. Still with Christian Javier on the mound, 97 pitches, 63 strikes, 6 innings on the mound, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, no runs, no hits. The Phillies are still being shut out through 6 innings with no hits. So it was a no-hitter now officially through 6 innings. I know usually people say it's a jinx if you don't bring it up until the 6th inning. That's when you don't want to bring it up before then. Now, you can say, okay, that was 2 times through the order, and he's been getting outs and not giving up any hits. So it's pretty impressive. He has given up a couple walks, though, so it's not a perfect game. But at the end of the day, he's gone 2 times through the order now, so you can say now he's no-hit through 6. That's pretty impressive. But already 97 pitches, so he's not going to stay in probably much longer if he does. Phillies
maybe till the end of this inning.
Yeah, probably one more, maybe. Get a couple outs.
Yeah, at this point, you get to the 8th inning, you pretty much only lost the game if you're up 5-0. Just
face Schwarber already and Hoskins, so I'd face right now Remuto, Hopper, and Castellanos next inning. I think they'd probably take him out. I probably think they would. 97 pitches he's already been in, and now you're facing the heart of that order with Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos. At the end of the day, they'll probably take him out. That's what I would do, personally. It's not about the no-hitter. You're about winning the game. You want to win the World Series.
Yeah, it's the thing. You pretty much know you're winning this game. You get through this inning 5-0 still. At that point, you're just playing for the next games. I mean,
which will be tomorrow.
2-2, so you still got 3 games left in the series. So
tomorrow's going to be a big game. Justin Verlander on the mound, 1-0 in the postseason with a 7.2 ERA. He's been struggling, though, over the whole postseason with a 1.53 whip, 19 strikeouts in 15 innings, a 7.2 ERA in 3 starts, so not the best. Noah Syndergaard, former New York Met and LA Angel, they made a trade over at the deadline to get him from LA to Philly. He will be starting tomorrow. He's 3 starts in the postseason, 3 games appeared in, I think 1 start, maybe a couple relief appearances, 1.69 ERA, 4 strikeouts, and 5 1/3 innings pitched. So there's a rundown of
it's going to be a big pitcher still tomorrow night. Excited for that for sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
The Phillies, baby.
At the end of the day, I'm rooting for the Phillies as well. I'm with you there. Why not root for the Phillies? At the end of the day,
yeah, we can't root for the Astros, and I used to be a big Ryan Howard guy on the Phillies, so
yeah, I was a big Ryan Howard guy too. I met Ryan Howard back in the day.
You did, that's sick.
2015, I met him and Andres Blanco, Cesar Hernandez, Odubel Herrera, Jeff Francoeur, Cameron Rupp. I met the entire team. Darren Ruff. I met the whole team back in 2015 to 16. My Phillies. My passion for the Phillies, I guess, comes from my grandfather. He's a big fan of them. So I used to follow them a lot more than I have now, but I'm still a fan of them. I still root for them. And especially now, with them being really good, I had them being in the World Series, my predictions in April. So I stayed there, and even though the Red Sox are not in it, the Red Sox would have a better year. I did get the Phillies making it, so I'll take that. Not many people probably had them coming out of the NL, but I saw them having Dave Dombrowski as the president of baseball operations. Absolute genius. He's now gone to the World Series with 4 different organizations. Very impressive. And then also, they have a really good team. He wasn't afraid to get Kyle Schwarber, make trades at the trade deadline like Brandon Marsh, Noah Syndergaard, getting both those guys, David Robinson from the Cubs, and then Marsh and Syndergaard coming from the Angels. He's not afraid to make moves, and also signing Schwarber in the offseason from the Red Sox. Nick Castellanos coming over from the Reds. He was not afraid to make big moves, and that's why I like this Phillies team. I'm still taking them in 6 games. I think the Astros win tonight. I'll take the Phillies on Thursday night, tomorrow night with Syndergaard on the mound. Then I'll take the Phillies winning Game 6 in Houston on Saturday night at 8:03. The stars of that game are not yet announced, but I'll take the Phillies still in 6.
I like it. I'm going to go Phillies in 7. Keep it a little bit different. I got them winning tomorrow night in Philadelphia. They're not going to lose back-to-back home games.
Yeah, this would be the first home loss.
Come back, Astros at home, back against the wall. I think they're going to pull it out on a nail-biter. And then Game 7, what'll that be, Sunday?
The Game 7 would be Sunday night, yeah.
I got the Phillies taking the whole thing, so...
That'll be in Houston,
Phillies
too.
in 7, Phillies in 6, yeah.
Game 6 and 7, both are in Houston. So
should be able to take at least one.
The Phillies have to win in Houston. But the Houston Astros and Phillies, both before this series, were both undefeated at home. Now the Phillies dropping a game at home. This would be their...
Phillies went on the road to the Astros.
The Phillies will lose tonight, so this will be their first home loss. And then the Astros obviously already lost one at home in Game 1. So impressive, though.
Yeah, there you have it.
Yeah, absolutely. So... Well, we rooted for the Phillies. We got Zach saying Phillies in 7. I got the Phillies in 6. I'm going to stay put on that. We'll keep you guys updated on that and obviously see where things go. And one last thing I want to mention. Hey, the MAC. Go close that out. 1 second. Hold on. One last thing before we close out. 35-22. Central Michigan getting their 2nd win on the year. Improving to 2-6. Now they're 3-6, actually.
Fire up chips.
So, fire up chips, maybe 3-6 now on the year. So not the best year for them, 3-6. 35-22 win over Northern Illinois. And then Bowling Green getting the win over, it was, I'm forgetting it here now because I have a million MAC schools there right now. Western Michigan, actually their 3rd win in a row. 4 of the last 5 they have won, beating Akron, and then losing to Buffalo. So beating Akron, losing to Buffalo, beating Miami, Ohio, beating Central Michigan, now beating Western Michigan. They are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins on the year. So pretty impressive. 5 and 4 for them on the year. And then Central Michigan obviously improving to 3-6. So there you have it. And the Celtics losing as well. So what can you do? There's a rundown of everything.
Yeah, tough game for them.
The Bruins.
One
thing I want to mention really quick before we close out the Bruins last night.
Right.
1 minute of the Bees. 1 minute of the Bees. They were down last night 5-3 when I left the studio. Had an episode last night. I forgot to mention them, and then on the way back I said, I got to add them in. So I talked about it for 1 minute. They were down 5-3. Allmark gave up 5 goals. The Bruins really didn't too much. They did.
Put in Swayman.
Swayman ended up coming in, and then I think Swayman got hurt, and then Allmark went back in. But they did pull him. They had to. Down 5-3. I got a big win, though. The Bruins now won the year 9-1.
Well, yeah.
Got the win in OT.
Everything turned up the last minute. Lindholm had an absolute rip in overtime.
Also 3 assists.
Game all around.
He had a 4-point game.
Wow, that's impressive.
4-point game. A goal and 3 assists. Actually missed a breakaway opportunity. Had a big shot, an opportunity for the Bruins to win the game. I think he had a pass to Thomas Nozick. Ended up missing him on a shot. Nozick hit the goal post, and then he went right down the court, right down the ice. I'm so used to talking basketball. Went right down the ice after that. Lindholm got the puck, went right down about 15 seconds later, and ripped the game winner for the Bruins, his third goal of the year. Patrice Bergeron picks up the assist, his sixth assist on the year. The Bruins end up winning, improving to 9-1 on the year. Very impressive, especially considering they were without Brad Marchand and Matt Grzelcyk until the last week or so now, and then now we're still missing McAvoy too, Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah,
so missing that core right there is tough, and then obviously not having Matt Grzelcyk and Brad Marchand, two big losses there. But Marchand had a goal last night. Zappe had a goal last night. Charlie Coyle, Dan's boy, had a goal last night. Taylor Hall had a goal last night. The Bruins end up coming back in the third period, finding themselves down 5-3, end up winning the game, which was huge. So we're 2 goals in the third and a goal in overtime, outscoring them 3-0 in the third period in OT. Very impressive.
Yeah, great comeback from the Bees. Love to see that energy. Just great win all around. Really turned things around. Allmark had a brutal start, came back in and played elite. Defense really stepped up third period. So
defense played great, 21-12.
Matters, 2 points.
21-12 block shots for the Bees. Very impressive. Hits really 38-48 in Pittsburgh's favor, so not the best there, but the Bruins dominated in faceoffs 55-45. So
that's pretty good.
Takeaways, though. Only 6 for the Bruins, 14 for Pittsburgh. So that's one of the Bruins getting better. But hey, they still won the game.
Care of the puck. But yeah, hey, a win's a win, so we'll take the 2 points. 9-1 in the year is incredible.
Yeah, best record in the NHL, actually.
Yeah.
Best record in the NHL, which is very impressive.
Gotta keep it up.
The Knights are 9-2, which is worse now with the Bruins losing Bruce Cassidy losing his job in the offseason, going over to Vegas. Now Vegas is 9-2, best record in the Western Conference. Then you look in the Eastern, you got the Bruins holding the best record over there at 9-1. Like you said, the Bruins are missing a lot of pieces. Charlie McAvoy's been out. He's still out probably for another month or so. And then obviously they missed Brad Marchand for the first 7 games of the season, and then missed Matt Grzelcyk for the first 5. So that's 2 losses there. But they're playing very well, and I'm impressed. Winning 6 in a row now for the Bees, 5 in a row for the Knights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great season so far. We'll definitely keep talking with the Bruins as the year progresses. Love the start they've been having. And with that, we'll start to wrap up this episode. Thank you, everyone, once again for listening. We'd like to give a shout out to our friend John, JD.
He's asking for a shout
out. Yep, he'll be on at one point this season to talk BC hockey.
Probably when we get a little bit more in the season, a couple weeks, so they have a better, standing.
Yeah, once they start playing some Hockey East games.
5 games so far, but you can't really base the season.
Got to get some Hockey East games in first.
So we can analyze
for sure. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back on with the playbook with Joey and Zach on WZBC AM Sports Radio next Wednesday night. Probably similar timing, 9:30 to 10:30. We'll have another interview game.
Hopefully I win.
Hopefully the Phillies close out the series by then. Series will be over anyways. Hopefully the Phillies get the win. We'll break that down next Wednesday night, hopefully. But
for sure.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it, and hopefully BC gets a win on Friday. Have a good weekend, guys. Thank you. We'll be back in next week, 9:30 to 10:30. Have a good night. Thank you, guys.